What? Understand I got a lot on my mind, a lot on my chest. That's why.
What's going on, everybody? Lloyd Jones with Indie Breakdown, the show that breaks down your favorite indie comic book characters' power, stats, and abilities and gets them ready for an indie versus matchup. When I say we are flying through this season, ladies and gentlemen, we are flying through this season. This is episode 38. Only 2 more to go after this season. And I'm particularly excited about this one because this has been, I think we said in the behind the scenes here, I think this has been a year or a little bit more in the making. So I'm not going to, without further ado, we're going to just jump right in. We got, of course, another amazing guest here. Let's bring him on. He's going to tell us all about himself, the company, and the character he's bringing to the breakdown today. What's going on, boss?
Hey, what's going on, Lloyd, man? Hey, man, you just said it. You just said it. Extremely excited to be here to talk with you because I know, number one, I know you talk shop. I know you know how to talk shop, and so being talking with you, I know we're gonna get down to the nitty gritty of, a variety of things, man. But no, it's been a little over a year in the making, and I just want to say thank you for the record before we get started because the Indie versus platform, Indie versus Breakdown platform has been so instrumental with my progression as a first-time creator. I don't want to get too far into it, but I just want to say that for sure.
Man, thank you. Listen, hey, that's the goal. We want to, one of the struggles that we had when we were starting is that visibility and really getting, that initial hurdle of getting started and building that community and stuff, man. And one of the things that we don't want to do is for others to have to go through that if we could help alleviate that process,
100%. Man,
the fights are fun, but that's the icebreaker. You know what I'm saying? Like, tell me more so I can, so others, so ourselves and others can definitely continue to support. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm so glad that this has been the case, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, tell us a little bit. Well, let's start from the top. I apologize. Tell the people who you are. Where are you coming from? What can you represent right now? Talk to us about it.
It's funny because people be like, man, you just kind of came out of nowhere. So, hello, Indieverse. My name is Thad Williams. I am the writer and creator, first-time writer and creator of Solar the Sovereign, of Concrete, the newest character on Concrete Comics. Shout out to Alonzo and the family there. Just happy to be here talking with y'all today.
Okay. My audio. Hold on.
We're good. Yep. We're good.
Okay. It started getting a little staticky. Mute really quick, just out of curiosity.
Okay.
Okay. Are you using a mic? No. What happened just now? That's crazy. It's doing this weird kind of pulsating static sound.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, you sound extremely clear on my end, so I'm not sure.
Dadgummit. Okay. I tell you what. Let me see something really quick.
Sure.
I'm so sorry.
No, all good. Absolutely.
I'm going to try. Okay, what I'm going to do, exit and come right back. Let's see if that fixes it.
Okay, got it.
And then, yeah, he'll be right back. Are you really streaming or doing any type of video without there being any audio issues? So, anyway, he'll be right back. We'll bring him right back up. But yes, I'm very excited about this. The latest character of the Concrete Camp, Solar the Sovereign. You may have seen him in the database. So I am ready to discuss the differences between each version of the character here, because issue 0 and 1, I think 0 is out, but 1 is just now about to pop up as a result of their latest Kickstarter, which is up right now, and we're going to be posting this. There's only 48 hours left before it is over. Let's see. Testing. Yes. Okay. Okay, perfect. So I was in the middle of letting them know, like, hey, there's only just under 48 hours left on the Kickstarter. So be sure when this by the time you're hearing this, or at least when this video launches, you guys have a limited amount of time to make sure you secure your Kickstarter version of the issue. So I also tapped in with a little bit about the fact that the no problem. The character is also in the Indie Breakdown database. So of course, as we're talking shop, like we said a little while ago, I want to, obviously I have a little bit of a cheat sheet here regarding some of the stuff that he's got going on. So I'll reference that, and then of course we'll definitely talk specifics about the comic exactly here. But let's talk about this. What is Solar's name? Does he have a name besides this hero persona?
Yes. So his name is Trevin Williams. Trevin Williams, born to a human mother, Cheryl Williams, who's, well, she's a military member, and he's half Photerian, which we'll get into the story as well. So half human, half Photerian.
Now, tell me about the Photerians really quick. Actually, we could pick up right there. Actually, what is the difference between Photerians and humans? Photerians. I keep saying Photerians. Photerians.
Photerians. Photerians. So the Photerians came about when I was doing research on the sun, and I really wanted to make a cosmic race called, from the children of light, and so the photosphere, of course, was the root word that derived from, the Photerians. And so the Photerians are a cosmic race, specifically chosen by the Fahrenheit force in the cosmos. They bear a responsibility to the Fahrenheit force, which is the fire of purification, that is responsible for the creation of planets in different star systems. And the Photerians are extremely strong. They process information up to 10 times faster than the human mind. They are a military race as well, meaning that they are bred and built for war throughout the cosmos, and they look at the human race, and you will see in the beginning of issue number 1, you'll be introduced to a callback to the Photerians, and they will see that the human race is inferior to intelligence, to mortality, to strength. But one thing that can't be measured in the human race is the human spirit. And that's where eventually down the line, Trevin will be able to bridge the two.
Okay. So, hold on. They see that they do end up seeing the value in basically indomitable kind of human spirit, if you would.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's viewed as a weakness, at first, because Trevin is going to be a hybrid of the two. He's going to be half human, half Photerian, which the Photerians are so strong and they process information so fast that it doesn't leave a lot of room for them to be emotional. They problem solve they problem solve very quickly. So when Trevin experiences times of paralysis by analysis, they view it as weakness. When really he's just really learning to channel and gain control of his powers, which are emerging. They gradually grew as he aged, and when he steps into the responsibility of actually joining the fight to become a hero to save others, all of this information is coming at him, simultaneously. So he's trying to figure out what's the best course of action.
Okay. So now knowing this, so for those that don't know, we have a Facebook group by the same name, Indie Breakdown Versus, if you would. We did an event a while back. We had Solar going against Incendiary. Solar and several heroes going against Incendiary. So with this information here, with now knowing this, hypothetically, would he, and this obviously would still tie into what you have in your story, what have you, with
Mhm.
the amount of information of, hey, there is a threat at underground Atlanta, right? And we know that this guy is crazy. He's got, he's got these kind of devout kind of cultist followers or what have you. And he was picking up those heat signatures all kind of surrounding the area.
Yes.
Um, with him being able to process, because I know because he would be able to sense, and we'll talk about the Fahrenheit force here in a second, but being
Mhm.
able to sense those things with this higher processing power, and I'm kind of diving into stats here slightly, but with the
Mhm.
higher processing power, would he have, based on the canon now with between 0 and 1, would he have been able to handle the various bombs in that immediate vicinity?
So yes and no.
Okay.
The capability of handling it, if if it was just an execution thing, right? Like he can handle
Mhm.
the bombs, but if there are, and I can't remember the exact scenario, if there were civilians around,
Oh
uh,
yeah, there was definitely yeah.
right? So readers will actually see that in his first two issues, to where he has to make a decision. He has to
Mhm.
make a decision relatively quickly, because you know his first instincts will be to save the civilians, to save
Right.
innocent bystanders. And when you have a lot going on, and he's only in his third mission when we open the story.
Okay. So he's
So
okay.
so
Okay.
he's still a novice. He's still a novice. So he's probably gonna mess that up or get
Mhm.
himself hurt in a way. I mean, he'll probably get bested in that
Mhm.
scenario with incendiary, because his main goal in the beginning will be to get the innocent bystanders and civilians to safety first. But a lot of information he would be processing the heat signatures.
Mhm.
You know, now he would be stronger, because he would be surrounded by heat in an industrialized settings. Will be used as conductors, for
Mhm.
him, so he's able to funnel and channel heat from various sources that would um, not make him necessarily invulnerable,
Mhm.
but he would be able to withstand a lot more punishment
I see.
in those scenarios.
Okay. And apologies, I did slick get ahead of myself diving like
No,
directly
no,
into
no,
that.
I love this, bro. Yes,
Okay.
hey, this is why. That's why I said I knew we were going to talk shop. Sure. So
Oh
yes,
yeah.
because I haven't
Yeah.
had the opportunity to really, talk like this yet. So
Oh, okay. Oh, we really about to get it in a second thing. So so we said that he's on his third mission so far. Let's continue to go backwards here. What does he do? Like give me this upbringing all the way up until, I guess, what's his occupation, right? So kind of
yeah.
childhood to modern day, or to that first mission. Um Tell us a bit more about him. What are we looking like right now for him?
So he did follow in his mother's footsteps to become a military veteran, a U.S. Air Force veteran. And in his lore, there is a situation that happens while he's overseas, that
Mhm.
that he ends up kind of revealing himself and his powers to save um, his fellow airmen.
Mhm.
In that situation, because of the nature of the incident, um, a high-ranking officer pretty much decides to take the fall, and um, not give up his identity in terms of his power set,
Mhm.
um, and he decides to um, leave the military, right? So that's a part of his
Okay.
story. Um, but in that incident, um, they kind of tell him, hey, we know who you are. We thank you for what you did. None of us would be here um, if it wasn't for you doing what you did in that incident. And so he decides to gracefully bow out of the military. I think, and then he becomes an entrepreneur in tech
Okay.
and solar, solar energy. And so he is an entrepreneur who is running his own company at the moment.
Okay.
And right
And
now,
so,
oh,
oh,
I'm sorry.
no, no.
I wanted to say too, when readers jump in, he is actually on leave. He needed some time to process everything, and he's on leave at the time, and just figuring out when readers jump into 1 and 2, he just answered the call not too long
Okay.
to step into this
Who he
role
actually is.
of who he
Is
actually.
is that going to cause any issue? The fact that the military knows who he is as he's beginning to jump into action, or is that going to play a role at all? Again, obviously, we don't want spoilers or anything like that, but is that something that I don't even know how to access without kind of spoiling it? But is he concerned that because more people know about his identity, it's not necessarily a secret identity at this point, there's no mask or anything like that, and they've seen his
Right.
powers in action before becoming a hero, is Solar or Mr. Williams, if you would, is he concerned about how his actions are going to hold weight and if he's going to be held accountable for anything if anything happens or goes wrong?
you know he's not concerned at the moment. He is
Okay.
aware that he is aware that, hey, somebody may go rogue, maybe coerced into giving up some information, but they would have to first prove it, right? They
Hmm.
would have to first prove it, and then so it's not something that's heavily weighing on his mindset at the time, but he's
Hmm.
aware that that could happen, because again, to your point, concealing identities, really all he does, if he doesn't want somebody to know who he is, he'll turn up the thermodynamic energy and the radiation on himself. And it's almost like you're trying to look into the sun, right? The human
Right.
eye look directly into the sun without having their vision impaired in some sort of way, so that's kind of, that was my way of creating. I'm like, he doesn't wear a mask. How would he keep, some of the frenzy at bay? And I was like, oh, he'll just turn up his brightness. He'll shine. He'll. He is the walking embodiment of the sun, and he is able to scale his thermodynamic output given the circumstances.
Okay. So, obviously, very well versed in how to utilize his powers. Now, does that come from? So, of course, he followed in his mother's footsteps, military wise. Did he receive training from his father to better understand these powers, or has this been kind of a trial and error thing for him over the years?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Lloyd. So his father, he hasn't even met his father yet, and that's what I love about it.
Hey.
So this is like his Antoine Fisher, if you saw the movie, where he
Yes.
has a whole nother side that he hasn't even met yet, But as a adolescence, um, and it won't be shown in these two particular issues, but I do have panels already showing in the story where, as an adolescent, his powers are growing,
Hmm.
and he's having these outbursts, these migraines. His powers are
Ooh,
um,
manifesting.
yes, they're manifesting, and well, his mother is in the military. He's a military brat, so
Yeah.
this particular time, she's on a tour in Asia,
Hmm.
and happens to meet a Chinese Buddhist monk while she's overseas, that
Hmm.
that begins to train Trevin in martial arts, and he calls it quiet in the fire that's within. So because he's having these outbursts, he's having these adolescent outbursts, and actually they will see it in a call back to it in book issue number 2, but he trains you know with martial artists, and it was important for me for him to have a rooted martial arts background. So uh,
Hmm.
so while mother is overseas and he's with her while they're traveling the world, this particular tour, he's able to train and also learn to control certain parts of his power, his growing powers that are manifesting at the time.
And would you say, I'm guessing these are kind of those where you said like these adolescent years, so kind of these formative years for him or what have you. How old is he when we run into him in issue 0 and 1?
Yeah, in issue 0 and 1, Trevin is 30,
Okay.
30, yeah, 30 years old, 30.
Okay. So plenty of time to have, gone through this training, understand it, be able to meditate on it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So then now let's get into some of the stats really quick, and then we'll I'm sure we're gonna get into some more of the story details here in a second about his process here. But since we've already brought up training in martial arts or what have you, can we talk a little bit more about his combat skill? I'm assuming, of course, the military training, martial arts. Is there a particular martial art that he is better versed in, or is it kind of like a variety?
Yes. So
What's his toolkit combat skill wise?
I love it. I love it because he's multiple. He's a master in multiple disciplines.
Hmm.
So Shotokan karate, taekwondo, uh, running fist kung fu, which he particularly learned while he was training overseas as a young man. Um,
Hmm.
and uh, what was there's a fourth one I'm missing here. But yes, multiple forms of martial arts, and readers will actually see him in some of his background in that in issue number 1. He has a good friend of his who they'll get a chance to see them spar. I think I maybe even posted a panel or two. Um,
In the yeah.
so you get a chance to see him spar and his combat. So his combat, background was very important for me. I wanted him to have uh, the hand-to-hand combat skills of Batman, Daredevil,
Mhm.
Black Panther, Blade, and Wolverine.
Right.
Those were four that um, I didn't want him just to be a display of energy. I didn't want him to just
Yeah.
yeah. I
He's just
wanted
the guy that shoots blasts.
yeah. I didn't want that, Lloyd. I really wanted him to because I have such a respect for martial artists and
Mhm.
um, you know that's a lot of people don't know this, but I am as well, and it was something that I
Okay.
just wanted to implement into the character because it's a certain discipline and it's a certain um, way about you when you know what you're doing. So
Yeah.
that's important.
I used to so funny enough, Lloyd backstory. I used
Yeah.
to compete in Taekwondo back in the day.
Oh, awesome, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Cool.
I did
Yeah.
karate for a little while as well.
Yeah.
And I did might butcher the name here, Hainong Gumdo, a Korean sword training style for a while in high school as well.
Love it, man. Love it. Yeah.
So
Man.
we're
Yeah. Yeah.
TJ,
Yeah.
same thing. He did martial arts for some years as well. So it's just like, whoa, okay, a bunch of martial artists in here.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. Yeah. No. In my elementary school years, Taekwondo, um,
Mhm.
and then I studied for Kuk Soo Wan. My young adult years, which is a Korean martial art as well,
Okay.
with various forms, and then running fist, kung fu. I've also studied that as well. So
Okay.
so yeah.
Okay, we out here this season. Hold
Yes,
on.
sir. Yes, sir.
So let's talk about this then here. We've dove in a little bit about the
Mhm.
combat skill. Let's talk strength really quick. What kind of punches is he packing? But also, how much is he lifting?
Right
Curious
now,
about.
yeah. So right now he's at about 25 tons.
Okay.
25 tons. Um, he's not gonna get any stronger than lifting about 75 tons. You know.
Okay. Throughout the whole series, or at the very least,
Yeah.
right now in the story.
Yeah. Right. Because and I would say just maybe right now because the Fahrenheit force and the addition of that adds so much more
Yeah.
leeway for increased strength. that I didn't want to cap it, but I didn't want to. It was a very important for me, and I say this a lot. It was very important for me to not make him overpowered. I wanted
Yes.
him. I wanted him to be able to get his butt handed to him. You know,
Hmm.
I wanted because as a competitor, um, the only thing better than being triumphant is getting knocked down first and then coming back to become triumphant, right?
Hmm.
And victorious. So it was important for me that Solar wasn't invulnerable. You see situations to where he's out of his depth and he gets bested, and I just wanted to be able to have a comprehensive story to where folks would be like, "Oh man, he wasn't doing that, in the beginning of his arc. As
Right.
time progressed, he definitely grew stronger, and that was important for me."
And that's awesome to hear. Again, it's always interesting to start making the comment that I'm about to make. But when we're in the space of power scaling or anything like that, it's bound to happen, right? We run into so many characters all the time. And that is a kind of consistent thing that we're seeing. So again, when we start talking about, obviously now you creators that have stories and so on and so forth, it's refreshing to get to see characters that have the opportunity to scale outwards and run into threats and run into things that they have to bounce back from and grow
Absolutely.
from and not be the kind of end all be all character from the beginning. Can stories be told with the
Yes.
character being the end all character, being him on the first episode? Absolutely, right. But there's a nuance to it that I think that in a lot of cases can be missing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll talk heavy about one in particular and get back to strength here. There's a CNS Comics some years ago came out with a story called Tales of the Stars, and it follows Talasha essentially, which is the main character, titular character, if you would,
Mm-hmm.
created by these celestial beings
Mm.
of the verse, and she is supposed to be this weapon against a cosmic calamity, and she is quite actually one of the strongest, if not the strongest being in the verse.
Wow.
But she isn't knowledgeable about it. She was bored yesterday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, she goes off, she finds a planet, it looks beautiful, she takes a nap, it's been a millennia when she wakes up, right?
Wow.
And now she's got like it's you're seeing what the universe has for her alongside of her when she gets played for the first time, right? When she runs into conflict and how she
Yeah.
deals with it. So it's not about how much she can destroy, though she
Right.
could.
Right.
It's
Right.
about learning and seeing what her place is in it. So again, all that to say, it can be possible, but it is refreshing to see that although he does have these powers, there's still so much for him to learn. You just said that his
Absolutely.
Voltarian side, he's not aware of it. So even though he knows how to use his powers, and there's the earthly side of things, he's mastered what he can at that state. How much
That,
more is he going to learn
that's
and
right.
progress once he learns the other half of himself? So,
And
oh,
I'll just say this, Lloyd, man, and Lonzo says this a lot too, because when the Fultarians show up, man, the party's really gonna get started there because
okay.
it's 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 not just this cosmic race, of course, that is going to be crashing the party. It's the
Mhm.
internal conflict that okay, Solar Trevin is going to be looked at as a threat from them. Even though Big Bad Daddy he's not thrilled of Trevin's existence.
Mhm.
He's quite looking at him like you're kind of the bane of my existence. You're a weakling.
Dang, okay.
You're a weakling, and it's going to be fun to tell that story because he's going to gain the respect and eventually the trust and ally of the Fultarian race. That's why he will become eventually the sovereign. So savior to one race, sovereign to another.
Mhm.
So the humans, he will become that warrior for them. But it's going to be fun traversing from the cosmos as he's in Fota, which is the planet, Fultarian planet. Uh,
Mhm.
he's in Fota, but he gets a call back home. Hey, we got a barbecue. Are you pulling up? You know, so so
Okay.
it's gonna be fun, you know, telling those you know, diverse stories there.
Okay. So really quick then, we're gonna
Mhm.
dive right back into that strength here. We got the 25 tons to potentially at the moment maxing out at about a 75 ton. And we're
Yep.
talking about kind of lifting strength here. How hard does he hit though?
He hits very hard, and that's
Okay.
why. So helio combat merging is something that I really love talking about when I talk about solar and its unique abilities,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a learned skill. It's not just something, oh, he powers up and then he hits you while his fist is glowing. No, helio combat merging is so much more than that. Some would say that helio combat merging is an additional martial arts form because he learns to channel, and we see callbacks to that, to where he's getting trained as a young pupil, a young apprentice,
Mm-hmm.
and he's channeling these thermodynamic energy um, movements into the strikes, and so it adds extra sizzle. It's
Mm-hmm.
like hey, you're getting punched by the sun in that moment, right? And it's so it's like that's the best way that I can explain it without giving, you know, too much of the story
Oh
away.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
But it was something to where helio combat merging, when it's activated, the punches, the strikes hit a whole lot harder, and
Mm-hmm.
they're hot, you know. So it's like, you think of a comet hitting the earth, you think of, okay,
Yes.
it's not just the pressure of the rock, it's this rock is on fire
Mm-hmm.
striking the earth,
At that speed and all
at
of that.
that speed, velocity, it's all encompassing, bro. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I love about, and I can't wait to showcase some of the panels, because you know, I in a very cinematic way, I really wanted to showcase, okay, this is the difference of a regular hit from solar. Okay,
Right.
this is another hit when helio combat merging is engaged at that moment, you know, and I really wanted to showcase that.
So let's talk about that a little further then. So
Mhm.
solar before helio combat merging, is it strong enough to punch destroy a mountain? And I bring that up specifically because I'm slick sowing the seeds of dissension within the concrete camp. Is he stronger than Odina? Right? 'Cause he was about mountain level in levels
Right.
of strength. I think he has a bit of an edge at the moment, right? Because he also has something stacked on top of his powers as well. So is
Yes.
he at base strong enough to knock down mountain, or maybe bring it down a little bit more, maybe easily able to swipe away buildings at kind of normal strength, if you would, before the addition of the helio combat merging?
Yeah, I would say, you know, so there's a panel where a building collapses
Mm-hmm.
and he's able to catch it, but he's struggling, right? Like
Okay.
it's a skyscraper, so it's not just like some regular building. It's a skyscraper. The building is getting ready to collapse, and you know, cause a huge fatality number by civilians that are running around.
Mm-hmm.
He's able to corral it and kind of catch it, you know, like this, but he's struggling still. So punching a mountain,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the mountain would collapse or he would break the mountain. I do
Mm-hmm.
know that the mountain would shake. You know,
Crater. Oh, okay.
yeah, absolutely, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
The mountain would shake. You know.
Now let me ask you the same thing then with the helio combat merging.
Hmm.
Would it how would it, in regards to, I guess, striking power, would it make much difference in destructive capability, or is it more of like a an elemental change to it, right? So it's like, okay, it's lit up
Yeah,
with that heat and so on and so forth. So whatever the effect of the heat now on top of the strike is what's going to be the added effect.
absolutely. It's the elemental change, bro. Like,
Okay.
you know, so I would imagine, you know, if punching through rock, you know, that heat would disintegrate and leave maybe a bigger hole. instead of it just leaving a crater or a huge, dent or crater there,
Hmm.
the elemental change would actually, maybe burn through,
Okay.
that rock, so and melt it.
Hmm.
Yeah, it would be an elemental change, I would say. Yeah.
Okay.
So
So let's get into speed, and I when we get to talking a little later about the Fahrenheit force proper,
mhm.
and some more about kind of the energy that he's emitting. I definitely am going to revisit, or I would like to revisit our specific example about, say, a mountain or buildings and stuff like that in this sense.
Sure, absolutely.
Um, let's talk speed though.
Yes.
How fast does he move? How fast does he move? Kind of base speed and then, like, balls to the wall speed. Let's do that.
I've always had him kind of baseline at a Mach 1, you
Okay.
know. Um, I wanted him to be fast, but he's not a speedster. Um,
Yes.
but he is he's fast enough to traverse states, and at this moment of his story, he's not really going out of the country just yet.
Mhm.
You know, but I wanted him to be able to get to different states very quickly.
Okay.
And so and if we're talking in combat, his speed, um, combat speed, very, very, very fast.
Mhm.
For a human. But the Photerian spark allows him. The Photerian spark in his left eye acts as spidey senses in a degree. So everything
Okay.
everything slows down to the millisecond. I can't wait for you guys to see this in book number one,
Mhm.
because actually actually you see it in book zero, but I think I put the panel up of the sniper getting.
Oh, is that when he's able to, like, really, like, see, like, the almost
Yes.
like the periodic table and all that
Yeah.
other stuff?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
He's able to see all of the elements of the periodic table. He's able to see and anticipate, down to the millisecond. A bullet that may be traveling. So his speed is very. It's almost like Flash with how he kind of
Yes.
manipulates time with how fast he is. So the Photerian spark is, it comes from his Photerian lineage, that allows things that would be fast in human form to really slow down. So you'll see he'll get ready to be into a conflict, and somebody will try to sneak him, with a hit, and he's
Mhm.
like, he's kind of like sitting here with his arms crossed, and he sees it coming, incoming
Mhm.
strike, incoming strike in 0.02 seconds, and he's like, now at that point he knows what this person, or what the assailant is getting ready to do, but
Mhm.
he's at that point he's choosing, is this person worth it for me to seriously injure, or should I just dodge them and give them
And
a
go about the business there.
right, so
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So we got Mach speed, and you kind of dove into agility there a bit, right? Paired
Mhm.
with the Voltarian spark, he can, at the very least, trajectory dodge a bullet with light work, right?
100%.
That's okay.
A hundred
Um,
percent.
if we're talking like machine gun fire and stuff like that, again, would that be more trajectory, or with the Voltarian spark, and not even the Voltarian spark, would he be able to dodge that with a relative ease, relative ease, excuse me,
Yeah.
without the need of the Voltarian spark? He's
Ab-
fast enough to kind of
absolutely.
okay.
He's enough, and that's what's that with that particular page I was referencing, Lloyd. Like, that's what's funny about the shot from the sniper there, because I'm sure folks are like, well, how did he get shot? I thought he was fast.
Mhm.
Well, obviously, I'll just say nothing happened that he didn't want to happen.
Okay.
So sometimes a diversion or the element of surprise, you know, it's like, okay, yeah, I'll let you think you got me, right?
Okay. So with that being said, then, because there's a level of confidence to let that happen, do we have a potentially confirmed healing factor for Solar here?
Yes,
Okay.
and he does heal relatively quickly,
Okay.
but a firing from a semi-automatic rifle or bullet isn't going to, especially if you're just talking one shot, right?
Mhm.
Which he already calculated when the moment of impact was going to occur.
Mhm.
You're not gonna damage him too much when he's already anticipating the impact.
Right.
I have posted panels of him getting into a solar healing chamber, you know.
Okay.
So and in that particular panel, he's at about 82. They'll see in the first book, he does something that will um really it really harms him, and he's able to get up, but he's not 100%, when
Yeah.
he gets up. So in that panel that I showed, it was him basically coming back from that incident and saying,
Mhm.
"Hey, I need to rest, right?" And so the thermal the ultraviolet rays from the sun, are being absorbed in the tank there, and
Mhm.
he's at about 82% healed by the time he gets into the tank. So it kind of just helps him um, get back to 100% in a timely manner.
Okay. And then, so really quick, slightly on the healing factor here.
Hmm.
How fast is it? How fast moving is it? Are we talking about if he takes, you know, let's say he gets pierced by something, somehow a
Hmm.
character strong enough to stab through him or what have you. They pull the blade right back out. Are we talking kind of an instantaneous thing, or are we going to see kind of a gradual thing over a couple minutes? It's
Yeah,
going to be
it's
okay.
gradual. Exactly. That's why I love talking to you about this, because you ask all of the cool questions, Lloyd. Really.
Thank
And
you.
it's like a cellular. If we, the human, just us humans,
Hmm.
if you think about scientifically how cool our healing factor are just as humans. Now, of course, we can't take a crazy stab and be healed up, but right. But if
Right.
we cut ourselves, if we scrape ourselves over time, our skin scabs up,
Yeah.
and then we heal naturally. And it's kind of the same with him, just a more accelerated uh uh you know type of deal there, right? Like, the cellular structure. I love showcasing the DNA strand of the Fultarian,
Yeah.
because half is like in flames and the other is just regular human that's intertwined in one another. So from a cellular regeneration standpoint, those cells are regenerated quicker, and they're expedited specifically once he gets into a healing uh,
Mhm.
chamber. But yeah, if he was like, if somebody got the best of him, let's say one of those characters that he was in a versus with and sliced them, really good without him, it would take a while. There's no instantaneous healing or getting back to 100%.
Oh, so it's not even within minutes. It is a little longer than that.
It would be a little longer. Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. So maybe some hours, maybe.
Yep. I would
Okay.
say 2 hours. Yeah. and,
Okay.
and and he would have to make sure not to take additional extra damage that would, you know uh
Right.
so yeah.
Extra damage from that. Okay. So, somewhat of a I didn't that confirmation. I was like, oh, I didn't expect to go there. Hold on, but
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we finished up speed. We did get the confirmation of a slight healing factor here. Now, we did talk about the fact that they're able to process information 10 times faster than the average person, but I do want to still dive into intelligence a little bit. What's
Mhm.
kind of like that highest level of education, but I guess what is the level of, is he like a genius? Like, where's he kind of at on the smarts totem pole, if you would?
I would say, genius level, and to where he's he's in that same. If you okay, so few characters came to mind when I was thinking
Hmm.
about his intellectual capabilities. Now, I didn't want him to be um I didn't want him to be like this omnipotent character to where, like,
Yeah.
I would say, if you're Brainiac or something, like that's something different, right? Like, but
Yeah.
I wanted him to have the natural aptitude of being a really smart human. So when you
Hmm.
think of Tony Stark, when you think of Reed Richards and T'Challa and Adam Brashear,
Hmm.
Bruce Wayne, you know, human aptitude. But I did want to accelerate that a little bit with the
Okay.
Voltarian capabilities. You
Okay.
know, yeah. So
Okay. So two more here, and
mhm,
then we're gonna dive into the Fahrenheit force here in a second.
sure.
Our last two here, durability.
Hmm.
What's kind of the maximum amount of damage that he can absolutely withstand?
So initially, the biggest thing that readers will see in his first couple of books will be him absorbing a huge uh, a huge wildfire, and that. So we talk about the we're talking about acres, we're talking about miles of flame.
Right.
um he absorbs that, but when you absorb that, it has to be released, right? You can't
Right.
just harness and withstand that energy.
Hmm.
It has to be released. So we're talking about an entire wildfire and so once that's that type of explosion should really, really take him out of there, right? But
Right.
he's able to survive that explosion, and that's kind of like the when I think of durability,
Hmm.
he's able to withstand, a huge explosion, right? And that's kind of where we are in his story. Yes, he has some fights and some things that will again, he readers will see him, taking a shot from a sniper, right?
Right.
But if we want to talk about scaling as far as how much he's able to endure, as far as from a vulnerability standpoint, he is able to withstand the explosion of a huge wildfire, as he releases that energy into a safe place.
Okay. Wait. Of the wildfires. So then the last thing before we get to the Fahrenheit force, or maybe this is kind of mixed in here. Energy projection in there of obviously what's his power output, right? But I think this goes hand in hand with any of his energy abilities or kind of external abilities outside of said physical. What's the type of energy is he able to expel, right?
Yeah.
Or
Yes, I love it because in one of the first in the first few pages of the book, we kind of put the power tag there. So, able to channel, manipulate, all heat sources. That's nuclear, that's plasma, that's thermodynamic, that's ultraviolet radiation, that's fire. And one of the biggest misconceptions about Solar as a character is that,
Mhm.
oh, he's just a fire-based character. No, no, all heat forms, he can Not saying that he will be master of all, but he will be able to manipulate and somehow utilize all heat forms. It's just um, part of the Photerian cosmic race. It's
Oh,
just part of it's part of his cellular structure.
right.
That he's able to manipulate, expel, uh, create constructs of he's not creating constructs like a Green Lantern
Green
would.
Lantern. Okay.
Right, but he's creating, if somebody needs a shield or something, or if there's a building or something getting ready to drop on somebody, he can at least form some sort of construct that would keep them safe over you know over the few minutes that would allow them to get to safety. So yeah.
This is good. Okay. So we're on the final stretch here. Usually, so that I get good shorts from this, I'm able to put it in the system I've got here to get some shorts. So we're on the last 9 minutes here, but I want to make sure that we get a good closeout. But I do want us to know more about the Fahrenheit force. So give
Yes.
us the Fahrenheit force, how it affects solar, uh, as best you can.
Mm, the Fahrenheit force, and I want to give a bit of a sneak peek to the origin story here.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, um, but the Fahrenheit force is um, the fire of purification. It is responsible for the creation of star systems,
Mm-hmm.
planets. The and um, it is it's chosen a champion because the former champion, which is Solar's father,
Mm-hmm.
uh, falls out of favor with the Fahrenheit Force,
Okay.
and and one of those reasons is because cohabitation with humans, that should have never happened. If we're
Right.
being, it should have never happened, um, but it happened, and um, there is a character that is um, a voice from the Fahrenheit Force, almost like a prime minister of sorts, that will vocalize to the Voltarian people, "Hey, you've broken law here," and he falls out of favor with Tadeos, which is Trevin's father,
Mm-hmm.
and he falls out of favor, and he says, "Hey, now you will no longer be champion. Your heir will be champion."
Mm-hmm.
And it draws that resentment I was talking about before,
Yes.
because he's like, "You're gonna give this to
It's halfling.
this halfling, right? The inferior race, uh, and so it causes an uproar in the Voltarian kingdom and
Mm-hmm.
the Fahrenheit Force, and that's when Trevin will have that divine encounter. I showed a couple of panels of that, which I can't wait to show. There's such a powerful moment in the story, to where he's visited
Mm-hmm.
and he's visited by the Fahrenheit Force, and he pretty much um, he's forged into becoming this hero. Um, but the Fahrenheit Force will never leave him. He
Hmm.
won't interfere with day to day, issues, because but there will be times to where he'll be able to summon that cosmic fire, and it will help him, you know, beat the odds or whatever the opposition is that he's facing at that time. It's going to be pretty cool.
Okay. Cosmic Fire. Okay. So last thing before we get ready to close out, are we going to see him utilize his twin flare katanas in these first two issues? My little cheat sheet of the database cards here. Are we going to see the appearance of those, or is that a little later on in the journey for him?
I decided to pivot from it. It was something that I was going to utilize, but then I said to myself, like, why use katanas? We
Mm-hmm.
have such a vast world out there, not just world but cosmos.
Yes.
Maybe it's a Photarian resource
Mm-hmm.
that we don't know about yet, right? So I pivoted from the dual katanas, but he will be gifted a wonderful weapon by the
In the future.
Photarian. You can
Okay.
expect that. Absolutely, absolutely. It just probably won't be the katanas because I didn't want to take too much from the Asian heritage
Yeah.
outside of the martial arts, but for storytelling purposes, I really wanted to. There's a resource that readers are going to find that um, that lie dormant within the planet of Fota that will, it'll be a nice piece of the story to tell. And I also can't wait. This is just a little nugget here. The metal that you see on um, Solar's armor. Um,
Mm-hmm.
um, I can't wait for readers to see how he forged and how he didn't find it. It's not a vibranium clone or anything. The
Mm-hmm.
this is a metal that he forged um, with the resources that were available to him that can ultimately harness the sun. And most metals would disintegrate and turn into gas, even being near the sun, let
Mm-hmm.
alone let alone being able to be in close proximity of Solar, who's the living sun, and
Mm-hmm.
how he's able to forge a metal that is strong enough to harness that kind of heat. I can't wait for readers to be able to see how we came up with that. How I came up with that. So
Okay. And then nope. Nope, I haven't. I haven't. Don't worry about it. So, before we close out, my friend, or as we close out here, let them know how they can find you. Um, and yeah, let them know where they can find you, where they can pick up Solar after the Kickstarter.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So thank you so much, man, for having me.
Sure.
You can find me. I'm on Facebook. I have my personal account, Thad Williams, there. Um, it's kind of turned into a Solar account over the last month or so with all of this promoting. But we have our Solar the Sovereign page as well. Solar the Sovereign on IG, Solar the Sovereign on TikTok, and once the Kickstarter is done, you'll be able to find the books on concretecomics.com, which is where the books will be sold.
Fantastic, dude. Again, year in the making, man. I
Yes, sir.
definitely appreciate your patience here, because for those that don't know, we want to make sure that there's a book
Man,
available and out there. We want to make sure
absolutely.
we're getting the most accurate version. So,
You guys
thank
kept you guys kept did a great job, Lloyd, of keeping like my mind structured because when you get pinups and you get things that you're just trying to, especially if you don't have a book like myself, you're just like, okay, I got to stay in a conversation. I don't
you.
want my guy to be forgot about. I don't want, so, but it's the way you guys ran it and, the rules that are in place. It was like, hey, tell us more about the character. Yes,
Yes.
pinups are good, but, and then it actually created more interest because people were like,
Mhm.
hold up, what's the Fahrenheit force? What's helio combat merging?
Right.
Those are some of the experiences that I had personally that, um, that I got from just operating within the guidelines and confines of the group. And I just want to thank you guys for that.
Anytime, dude. Anytime. This is encouraging to hear that it does work, that it does make sense, and that there's a value that's coming from it, man. So no, thank you, because that is just that's what I need to hear. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So again, thank you, everybody that's watching. Actually, the game plan is after this ends to go ahead and get ready to get this uploaded. So by the time you watch this, like, it's probably going to be hours ago that this happened. So be able to look up for that. And definitely, again, head on over to concretegoblins.com. If the Kickstarter is closed, which by the time this posts, it should still be open. So head over to Kickstarter. Link and all that other good stuff will be in the description. Head over there, support that, and head over to concretecomics.com and be sure to support this story once it's available and all the rest of the stories that they got. They got an amazing collection.
Yes.
In regards to, go ahead.
I was gonna say, before I let you go, bro, we need a up-to-date soul and solar pinup.
Listen, we're going to be talking. Best
That's
believe.
the start of it. So because yes.
And you know what? We're about to talk offline because I have there's some ideas that I have that I've talked to Lonzo about as well. Several others. We're going to talk right after this.
Absolutely.
But everybody else, you guys are going to miss out this conversation. You'll probably see the fruits of our labor here. But thank you guys for helping us redefine power scaling in the indie world. We have plenty of amazing ideas for not only just not only for the group, but of course here on this channel and this show here. So a lot of different things coming down the pipeline for that. So we're back. So just very excited about that. Our little slogan of redefining power scaling in the indie world is going to evolve in and of itself as well. Because again, there is a void. We're seeing it all over social media right now in regards to, visibility for indie and all of that other good stuff. So really trying to help alleviate that has been at the forefront of my mind. So again, a lot of ideas have been formulating, and now that I have rested and took a break from group activities and focused back on the love of the show and some of the other ideas, I think we're going to have something that's going to be of some serious value to the indie community. So more on that soon. You guys will see the fruits of that labor soon enough. But man, thank y'all so much. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Be able to look out for the breakdown coming soon for Solar. And man, we'll catch y'all next time, man. We're almost done with the season. This is gonna be exciting, but y'all have a good one.
Yeah.